You're scrolling through a mountain of binocular options because you need something that actually works when you're out on a hike, at a birdwatching hide, or just scouting a crowded stadium, and you don't want to end up with a glossy brochure that looks great on paper but falls apart in the rain. The big question is always the same: will this pair give me clear, steady views without making me feel like I'm lugging a brick around, and will it be worth the money I'm about to spend? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last few weeks testing a few high-end binoculars, and the Leica 8x42 Ultravid HD Plus kit is the one that kept showing up in the works for me column for real-world situations. First off, the thing that makes this Leica stand out from the crowd is the dual magnification system. It's not a gimmick. You can flip a tiny lever and go from a comfortable 8 for wide scene scanning straight to a tighter 12 when you need that extra reach on a distant ridge or a bird perched high in the canopy. That flexibility is the kind of practical edge you rarely see in a single magnification pair, and it saves you from having to carry two sets of binoculars just to cover the same range of activities. The kit also comes with a waterproof, fog-proof metal housing and phase-coated roof prisms, which means you can toss it into a sudden downpour or a cold morning at elevation without worrying about condensation fogging the lenses. When I first put the Leica in my backpack on a 3-day trek through the Cascades, the first thing I noticed was how quickly the internal focusing mechanism responded. I didn't have to wrestle with the focus wheel while the wind was howling. A couple of gentle turns brought a distant waterfall into crisp focus, and the view stayed stable even as I moved the binoculars around. That smooth focus is a big deal for anyone who spends time on the move because it lets you lock onto a target and then keep your eyes on the scene rather than fiddling with the knobs. One of the most common buyer hesitations with premium binoculars is the weight. Leica's metal housing does add a bit of heft compared to the polymer frames you find on cheaper models, but the weight feels intentional rather than clunky. At roughly 1.6 kilograms, the pair sits firmly in the hands without pulling the straps down or causing fatigue during a half-hour spotting session. For someone who hikes a lot, that balance between sturdiness and portability is a practical win. You're not sacrificing durability for a featherlight feel, and you're not lugging a camera-grade scope that would make your shoulders scream. The real test for any binocular is how it handles low light conditions, and this is where the Ultravid HD Plus optics really shine. The phase-coated roof prisms boost light transmission, so even at dusk you still get a bright, color-accurate picture. I tried it at a twilight game-watching event, and the players were distinguishable without the usual grainy, washed-out look you get from lower-end optics. If you're the type who likes to stay out after sunset for wildlife photography or simply want a clear view of a night sky event, that extra light pull is a concrete advantage. Now, let's talk about the trade-offs. The most obvious one is price. Leica is a luxury brand, and the 8x42 Ultravid HD Plus is priced well into the high-end market. If you're a casual weekend camper who only uses binoculars once a month, you might feel the sting of that price tag. However, for serious birders, dedicated hikers, or anyone who spends a lot of time outdoors and demands reliable performance, the cost can be justified by the durability and the dual magnification convenience. Another subtle downside is that the dual magnification lever, while useful, adds a small learning curve. The first time you switch from 8 to 12, the field of view narrows noticeably, which can feel disorienting until you get used to it. It's not a flaw, but it's something new users should be aware of. Because there are no detailed user review snippets available, I leaned on the overall 4.6-star rating from 57 Amazon buyers to gauge general satisfaction. That rating suggests that most owners are happy with the performance, but it also hints at a few outliers who may have found the price or the weight a bit much for their needs. In practical terms, if you've already owned a pair of mid-range binoculars and you're looking to upgrade for better low-light performance and the flexibility of 2 magnifications, this Leica feels like a natural next step. If, however, you're a beginner who is just starting to explore the hobby, a more modestly priced 842 with a single magnification might serve you just fine while you learn the ropes. A couple of everyday scenarios illustrate the value. Imagine you're on a coastal walk and spot a pod of dolphins far out on the water. The 8 setting lets you quickly scan the horizon, and when a dolphin jumps, you flip to 12 and get a clear, close-up view without needing a camera.